Joel Sherman here. The Mets have made a late night, Tuesday night trade for a center fielder, Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox. They had been long rumored to be involved with him. They traded a pitching prospect, Truman Pauly, and Luis Angel Acuna for him. I really like this move for the Mets. There's obviously some gamble here, but if you have the money, and obviously Steve Cohen has the money, I think this is a worthwhile gamble in a market where it's difficult to find a center fielder. On the downside, with Robert Jr., you're dealing with lots of strikeouts and a little bit of an injury history these last few years. But even at his worst last year, he really hit lefty pitching. And suddenly with Bichette and Robert Jr., they have two right-hand bats to hit lefty pitching and balance out their lineup more, which I think is important. Even at his worst, Robert Jr. is a above average center fielder. Again, a very hard thing to find. He'll hit some homers and he'll steal bases at a pretty good rate. So there is an upside to the player, and then there's the real upside. 3 years ago, he was one of the better all-around players in baseball. Is that gone completely? He should be in his prime at 27, 28 years of age, with a chance to do this in a lineup where he'll probably be asked to hit down some and not be asked to be a carrying force like he was with a bad White Sox team these last few years. Again, I like it. The Mets don't have to rush Carson Bench now. They could find other ways to do this. I mean, I guess always Bench can play left field, and Robert could be in center, but there's less necessity to do that. The Mets could even try to find another outfielder in this market to lower that more. So I like it from that end. Again, talking run prevention this offseason, David Stearns, this is a run prevention player. He's a good center fielder. Acuna, who obviously was part of the sell-off a couple of years back when the Mets were so disappointing. When Scherzer went to Texas, he came back as part of it, as the trade piece. There was going to be not a lot of room at the end with Bichette playing third, with Marcus Semien acquired at second base. By the way, Semien, another right-hand hitter for the Mets. And Beatty probably moving between second, third, and probably maybe left field, first base, etc. He's there. Jet Williams is coming and is probably a more comfortable player on the dirt than in the outfield, so he's a second base possibility. Acuna was duplicated on this team. He did bring speed, which was a value, but they get some of that again with Robert Jr. I assume, without knowing this for sure, this trade just went down, that this dims the Mets' interest in Cody Bellinger. I would never say never, because again, he could be part of a left field first base group for the Mets if they wanted to go there. But they've now applied a lot of money among Semien, Bichette, and Robert to the positional group. They clearly would like to add a starting pitcher and a couple of bullpen arms probably before this is all done and they begin the regular season. We're 2+ weeks to spring training. I wrote something a few days ago where before any of this went down, I thought the Mets would make 3, 4, 5 moves when people were complaining they weren't doing anything. And Bichette and Robert is part of it. I expect them to add a starting pitcher. I expect them to do something about the bullpen, and who knows if they're stopping there. They clearly have shown where they could use Steve Cohen's money as a big advantage. They'll try to do that, whether it's snatching Bichette away from the Phillies at the 11th hour, or being the team that finally pulled the trigger with the White Sox, who have been thinking about and trying to move Robert Jr. for a little bit, and now found a team the Mets are taking on. He makes $20 million in 2026. There's a $20 million 2027 option with a $2 million buyout. Again, if you have the money and you had the need in center field and you needed a right-hander and you're thinking defense and athleticism, to me, this is a really good gamble by the Mets. I like it.